Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to a new video on my channel. We are back on F1 22 and today we are going to check out all the new track changes, at least the ones that I could spot and the big ones. So, I mean, Codemasters hasn't really announced that Cheddar has been completely redone, but there have been screenshots and look at the curbs. And the curbs in general, some of them have changed. They feel different and you will see that. I will spin once or twice and use a flashback. This one here is still similar, but here on the inside, for example, you can actually feel the curb now for a tiny sequence. So it's your risk if you take it or not. You can see the AI is making my life really difficult. But the track feels much nicer now, it also looks more accurate. I really like that. Because before, I think we had red curbs, and this is the corner that I mean. Before there was only a painted curb. And look at my reaction, I was like, oh my god, I did not expect that at all. So I used the flashback and then cut back to the action. With Seb overtaking him into turn 1, but he's fighting back to Mick. Mick is leaving him space, and this is making it a free wide corner. Also, the inside of turn 1 has changed. You will see that in the next lap. So we're gonna check that out as well. But in general, Codemasters has made a great step with a couple of the racetracks. They've changed a couple of corners on some tracks. Some tracks have been left unchanged from what I've seen. And yeah, but these ones like Cheddar, of course Australia, Spain, and Abu Dhabi. Those are the ones that we are checking out today. In a 3-lap race on each circuit. Also checking out with that BAI behavior, and I'm of course using the default setup. No setups yet with 50 brake bias and I think 80 differential, yeah. So those are also the stock settings aside from the brake bias, because you can again run the brake bias fairly low this year. And we are also doing that because there's no real benefit in running it much higher. Potentially in the race, but we have to figure it out. And you can see we took it a bit more easier this time around in this corner. If you just took it up slightly with one side, but you cannot really get close with the full car, and bottoming out on the curb will probably make you lose the car. Now we're going for a move around the outside on Lando Norris, but again, if you try to overtake them around the outside and they are covering the inside, usually they dive really late into the corner and also send it on another car. And you could see Yuki left him some space there. Now we have to take the inside again, and now pay attention to turn 1. There's a sausage curb now, which is lovely. Really lovely that we cannot really send it too much over there anymore, and that I think it's also there in real life that they add some of the real life elements. I wish we would have laser scanning, and I can already take away, because you know I'm really critical towards the game all the time because I want to see it improving, so we have a better experience, and the fan base is also growing of the game. But I believe the F1 game is still lacking in terms of tracks. I've driven all of these tracks now, and I have to admit, yes, they are an improvement, but they are not incredible. Like, they are better than before, for sure. But I still feel like we finally deserve some laser scan circuits, right? This is like the minimum that we deserve for playing the year over and over every single year. And also just usually getting the same tracks over and over again. And no bonus DLCs, which we will get this year for the first time. You can see we spin once more. And I was not surprised about that, so we just took a flashback and are now gonna finish the race behind Pierre Gasly. And then we are already heading down under actually, Australia. But yeah, let me know what you think about Cheddar. I'm not really sure what my final thought is. I mean, it's better, and I like it. Like, it's much better than 2021, so it's a step up. We shouldn't complain too much, but there's always room for improvement. It's a good step in the right direction, and we still got a fast lap here. Also, in case you really like this content, make sure you hit subscribe button, because there will be more content coming soon. Not just the like button, but subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. Support the channel. In Germany we say Support ist kein Mod. Auch an die Deutschen. Checkt den deutschen Kanal aus, falls ihr es noch nicht gemacht habt. Now back to English, sorry for that. Just told the Germans to check out the German channel. And we are going around the outside of plenty of cars into turn 1. And I don't know why the AstroTurf is so dusty there. On the left side, but Australia feels much better. You can also see on the left side the wall is much closer. Maybe we'll see that in another lap. And if you send it down the inside, they usually give you a lot of space, but we have 3 wide, so we are letting Albon and Norris go. But we get the double switchback, and that felt really good. You can see that that I fairly enjoyed that move. That was a good one. Now this corner is also new. You just have to smash the brakes quickly, release it quickly, and also be just before the apex on the power. You can use it, use 6th or 5th gear. I think I prefer actually 5th gear. And yeah, but the track feels good. I don't think, I've heard from a couple of drivers that the tracks have been completely remade, like from ground up. And if I'm honest, yeah, the corners that have changed, like for example this one, yeah, that feels completely different for sure. But there are a couple of corners that still feel like it's more or less the same like last year. For example, turn 1, I don't feel like turn 1 has changed lots here in Australia. I don't know if I said Austria once, if I did, apologies to my fellow Aussies. But yeah, turn 1 hasn't changed that much in my opinion. I guess you can see here, you can still cut technically the inside. It's not as beneficial anymore because you bottom out. Usually it's better to just get close to the curb, which I really like. It's not about too much cutting anymore. And there you can see Mick sending it late again, but Tsunoda this time not leaving the door open. And we are taking the inside line. Yeah, the AI, honestly the AI so far, from what I've seen, the racing is better. They are more aggressive. You will also see an incident in Spain in the first lap. They are sometimes making big mistakes, which I really like to see. And it just makes this whole experience when you drive against AI better. It's still not perfect, but I would say hands down the Codemasters AI, and it was already the previous years, but they took a step up from their previous AI. The AI definitely improved, and it's the best racing AI on the market. I would raise my hands for them and always say they have the best, even though I rage most of the time. But Codemasters AI is really competitive. The racing is super close. If you compare it to something like on Assetto Corsa, it's just terrible. And Assetto Corsa doesn't even have a proper working online feature. Even though Assetto Corsa is great, you know, and every single sim has their benefits, but I think Codemasters AI is one of the best on the market. If you want the great racing experience, which is close to a sim in some way, then yeah, definitely the Codemasters games always provide great racing with AI, and they make steps forward usually every single year. And so far they haven't seemed too glitchy, just a bit more aggressive. Maybe that is still getting toned down for the final version of the game. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not sure if I would like to see that, because if that happens, probably the racing will not be as fun. And also, I've just missed, speaking about the move on YouTube, you can really send it down the inside of turn, is it turn 4, turn 3? Like 1, 2, 3. It's turn 3, if the straight is not counted as a straight. As a corner. Also, this corner is really good to overtake usually. Both inside and outside. I prefer the inside on the AI. In this corner, you remember when I sometimes complained about the AI just turning in? If you are not fully alongside early enough, like really early enough into the braking already, they just turn in on you. If you're literally just sending it a bit later, on some corners they give you space, and this one it doesn't. But anyways, that was Australia. I think Australia, they made a great job. Spain, I mean, we have already seen Spain to be honest, so it's not a big surprise, but also Spain is incredible. I still believe it's not a complete revamp. Like turn 1, also the off-track there, it's literally the same. And there you can see what I mean. Stroll literally just killed someone and himself. I don't understand that. I mean, it's great to see that they sometimes miss a braking point whatsoever, but I don't know if that's a glitch and the AI not being final yet, and they are making some tweaks maybe in the day 1 patch or before the game is actually launching. But that is, I actually like that. I mean, before you rarely see the AI crash, get damage, and I've seen some AI battling, getting front wing damage, messing it up every now and then, making stupid little mistakes that just happen. Like for example here, I was lucky, but I actually didn't get any damage, as you can hear. So the front wings are also more stable probably than last few years, because I have the damage on standard, and simulation will probably be gone. And there's the new turn 10. It's actually fun to drive. It's still fairly rear limited, so you have to be careful. Probably with a great setup, it's super awesome to attack, and you can floor the throttle quite early. What I've noticed, there, for example, I just turned in. This is one of those corners. I was already fully alongside, and it wasn't like a super late dive, but they still turn in. On some corners, that's still the case, so also gotta criticize that. But in overall, it's great. And also on the inside here, if on the outside, if you would brake on the AstroTurf there or position your car, you would actually hear the car bottoming out and losing time. And there was a super close moment with Landon Norris, which we just witnessed. But yeah, like I don't understand why the AstroTurf, for example, here you can drive on. I feel like I don't feel like you lose time there. I'm not entirely sure. I still have to test that, but from what I felt so far, turn 1 you can't, for sure. It's bad. It slows you down, or you can maybe hit it once in a while. But with that, you can probably hit it every single lap. And also the exit curve there, if you hit it a bit too much, you spin immediately to the left. So you guys have to be careful when you get the game. The 7-8 chicane on 8 the exit, the sausage curve, they are painful. It's good to see that the AI leaves you space here if you send it a bit later. As expected, because it's a new turn. I think the chicane there hasn't really changed much. Also like that the tarmac changes in the new areas, in the new turn 10. But this section here doesn't really feel much different. And would you like to see Codemasters edit the chicane, like the entry, the left-hander? Because there's usually a bollard in real life. But in the game we have a sausage curve. I prefer the sausage curve because it blocks you from cutting. And now, look, also here, Bottas actually leaves space. Usually I was way too late. I was actually way too late. I would expect the AI to always turn in there, because that was far later than any of the other moves. And yeah, that really surprised me, but it's good to see. It's good to see that you can race them hard. And if you wonder, there was no action on the final lap, so I just skipped towards the end, and we have to keep it within 16 minutes, so 15 minutes and 59 seconds is the limit of the videos, and I can make one more F1 22 video. I will probably do Pirelli hot laps and some My Team Korea, show you some of the new features, because the rest we've basically already covered everything that you need to see F1 live and whatsoever. But now also Abu Dhabi for the first time, the famous new corner at the end of the first sector where Max Verstappen overtook Lewis Hamilton. Maybe we have a little deja vu at the end of this race, who knows? Maybe you could already spot something from the thumbnail. But yeah, I really enjoyed the new Abu Dhabi. I think this corner here has not changed. Like, not at all. Zero. Oh wait, did we take some damage? I think we did. I didn't even notice during the race. I think there was some carbon fiber flying to the left. I'm not sure. Maybe they are not as sturdy as I thought they would be. But anyways, here's the also new corner into the first sector. You can take it flat after a certain while, but it's still tricky and you can lose the rear quite easily. There's a bump on the inside. Also in this corner, I always gives you lots of room, so you can send them down the inside. The hotel section is also fun. The exit here, you can see here, we had a little moment. You have to be careful if you mess it up, and usually in quali this here is flat. Final corner is tricky, you cannot really brake on the curb. If you brake too hard on the curb, you usually lock up, and that's not what you want. Unfortunately, you still have to go to the right here to maximize the line, which sucks. I wish that the curb would be undrivable. And then over here we just hook it up on the curb. For the next corner, I think we're sending it down the inside of Sebastian Vettel. Yeah. You can really either have the approach of being on the outside, brake super late, get a switchback, and have a good run down this straight, or you can send it down the inside, also still brake late and run them a bit wide, like legally. It's super cool, interesting corner. I think also in league racing and your career mode, there will be plenty of great overtakes that we will see and witness. And as you can see, you can also send it around the outside there, because the AI is braking super slow into there. And then you can just hook it around the outside. They leave you a little bit more space, and then you can make the move. In this corner, you actually want to stay as tight as you can. You can see we are flat from now. I think in the final lap we are even earlier flat, I'm not sure. But at least in quali mode, you can send it really hard. And like I said, there's a bump in the road before this right-hander that we just passed. And I don't know if it's there in real life, but we have another Suzuka bump. I don't know if some of you remember the Suzuka bump at the final corner, but it feels similar. It feels really similar. There's just a random bump. I don't know if it's there in real life. If it is, then fair enough. But if it's awful, and there you can see what we are doing. Oh, sorry for all Hamilton fans, but I saw the opportunity in this corner, and I just had to send it. You know, I just had to do it. And Gasly sending it back on us into the next corner. We're still trying to get Alonso. Alonso had a little bit of a moment on the exit. We actually shot it into 5th, which I think is slower. 4th gear must be quicker to get a bit more power. And we're just passing him easily. And now for the final sector, honestly, there's nothing happening. Nothing, unfortunately. And because of our bad final corner, we also didn't get close to the fastest lap. But this is it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Peace.